All right, here we go. Last part of the review. Okay, so we're still doing compound inequalities. Okay, so again, when you have the word and, just like, it's just two separate problems. So literally, we're going to solve these two separate problems, and then we're going to put our answer on the number line and see what it looks like. All right, so P, getting that by itself, going to take away the 5. So negative 37, take away 5 is negative 42. Divide by 7. We're not dividing by a negative, so the sign stays the same. Negative 6. That's one answer. And over here, we have negative 10p, so we're going to divide both sides by negative 10. When we divide by a negative, switch the sign the other way. 10 divided by negative 10 is negative 1. Okay, so remember that this has the word and between them. So my answer needs to be less or equal to negative 6, which is going to be right here, going this way, and bigger than negative 1 this way at the same time. And so can I pick a number that goes less than here and at the same time comes over here and is bigger than this? No. So this is no solution. Like, it's not possible for it to do both of those at the same time. If this was the word or, then that would be fine, and we could do that. But since it says and, that makes it not possible. Okay. All right, so over this one, we have the word or. So we're going to get the x by itself. So let's get rid of the plus or minus first. So we have a positive 7. We're going to take away from negative 20. So I'll leave negative 3x less or equal to negative 27. Divide by the number in front of x. Divide by a negative. Sign switches the other way. Negative divided by negative is positive. X is bigger or equal to positive 9. So here's 9, closed circle, and it's getting bigger going that way. Cool. Or it could be this stuff over here. So on this side, we're going to get rid of the minus 6 by adding 6. 9 plus 6 makes 15. Divide by 5. Not dividing by a negative, so we just keep the sign. X is less or equal to 3. So less or equal gets a closed circle. We're going to head back to the left towards negative infinity. So on our interval notation, this is heading towards negative infinity, so that's going to be first. And it's going to come all the way up to positive 3. It is closed at the 3. Remember, infinity gets a parenthesis. We're going to jump u over to the 9. So we're going to start with 9 and head all the way out to forever and ever. Parenthesis on infinity, box in the 9. Great. All right. This one has the word and. Again, we're just going to do two separate problems. We're going to plus 2 to get the y term by itself. 9y is less than 15. Divide by 9. 15 divided by 9 is 5/3. That's one answer. And we got an answer from over here on the other side. So again, get y by itself. So the opposite of minus 2 is plus 2. 3y is greater than negative 29 plus 2 is negative 27. Divide by 3. Not dividing by a negative, so we're just going to leave it. Y is greater than negative 9. So can that be possible? Actually, I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to cross all these out. These don't work. All right. Okay. So can I have a number that's less than 5/3? 5/3. 3 goes into 5 all once with a little bit left over, so it's going to be somewhere here between 1 and 2. So I want a number that's smaller than that, so that's going to go this way. And then I want a number that's bigger than negative 9. So negative 9 is way out here. So and it's bigger going this way. So that's going to connect the two of them, which gives us the word and. So our answer is anywhere in between these two. So that's good. On our interval notation, we start with our smaller value at -9 and go all the way up to the other end, 5/3. And these are both open, so they get parentheses. All right, last one here, we have the word or. So we're going to take away 10 to get the w by itself. Positive 2w is greater or equal to 12. Divide by 2. W is greater or equal to 6. Or over here, we've got a -8. So opposite of -8 is +8. 5w is greater than -4. Divide by 5. W is greater than -4/5. Okay, so do you notice here that both of our answers are greater than? Okay, so what's going to happen is on this, our arrows are actually going to be going the same way. So I'm going to start at 6, and I'm going to put a closed circle at 6, and I'm going to shade greater, so shading towards positive infinity. Okay, and then when I come over here to this other one, -4/5 is like almost -1. So I put an open circle there, and I'm going to shade greater. So what's going to happen is, even if this was an open circle, as soon as I shade all this stuff greater than -4/5, I'm going to fill in that circle, and that circle essentially goes away, right? Like it's no longer there. And so my answer is really just this part. Like I don't need this stuff, okay? Because this is numbers that are greater or equal to 6 are included in all of my answers that are greater than -4/5. Okay, so just this part on my graph or on my interval notation, -4/5 all the way up to infinity, open on both ends. We didn't do one of those in class, but that's okay. All right, last bit, absolute value with inequalities. Remember, we got to get the absolute value daily by itself. And then if we divide by a negative, we're switching our sign. Okay, so this one's already by itself. So we're going to split this into our two equations with the absolute value. Oops, just kidding. Without the absolute value. 9 take away a is greater or equal to 2. 9 take away a is less or equal to -2. Remember, we're going to switch both, right? So switch the sign and make it negative. And then we're going to solve these. So we're going to take away 9. -a is greater or equal to -7. Has a negative in front of that, so I got to divide by a -1. Be-doo, be-doo, be-doo. When we divide by a -1, our sign goes the other way, +7. Or our answer could be, well, actually, we don't know, we don't know yet if it's or and, because we don't know. We have to wait until we put our numbers on the graph to figure that out. Okay, we'll go back. Take away 9. -2 take away 9 is -11. Divide by -1. A is greater or equal to 11. All right, so when I put these on my graph, I'm going to start with 7 and make that a closed circle. 7's right here in the middle. And we want smaller than 7, so we're going this way towards -infinity. And then we have +11, and a is getting bigger. So that goes the other way. So this was, or I was right, just by luck. And we have that skip in the middle. So we're going to start at -infinity and go up to 7. Close it in. Jump over to 11. Close that in. And head all the way up to +infinity. Okay. All right, 38 is our absolute value by itself. Nope, it has a divide by -5 under it. So how do I get rid of a divide by -5? We multiply both sides by -5. Be-doo, be-doo, be-doo. When we multiply by a negative, we are going to switch the sign. So the -5's cancel out. Don't put that -5 inside there. So we're just going to have the v minus 3 inside the absolute values. None of that changes. -5's go away. We're going to switch the sign. So instead of greater, it's going to become less. And -1 times -5 makes +5. Okay, now the absolute value is by itself, so we can separate this out and do our two equations. So the first one is everything normal, just like it shows up. And then over here on the other side, we're going to keep the first part, and then we're going to switch the sign and make it negative. Okay, so +3 to get v by itself. V is less than 8. +3 to -5. V is greater than -2. So I got to put those on my graph first. So +8, open circle. I want less, so we're heading this direction. And then I have -2 is another circle, and that's getting bigger, so that's heading towards the other one. So we have all this stuff in the middle. So this is the word and you can leave it like that. Or you can write your answer with V in the middle and your less than equal signs, or sorry, less than signs, little number in front, big number at the back. Either one. I'm okay with either answer. Okay. And then our interval notation just goes from -2 to 8. They're both open. All right, 39. Absolute value. Is it by itself? Nope, there's a +1 hanging out there. So we're going to get rid of the +1 by taking away 1. And we're going to have the absolute value of 3n plus 8 is greater than 4. Now it's by itself, so we can split it into our two equations. Split, split. So the first one, everything stays normal. That's a, oh wait, that's not an equal then. That's just my line, my little arrow line. Greater than 4, not equal. And then over here, the first part stays the same, everything inside there. And then we're going to switch the sign and switch the negative. Okay. So to get the n by itself, get rid of the +8 by taking away 8. 3n is greater than -4. Divide by 3. N is greater than -4/3. Take away 8. 3n is less than -12. -4 take away 8. Divide by 3. Not dividing by a negative. Leave all our signs alone. So we have these two answers. They're both going to be open circles. So I have one at -4/3. 3 goes into 4 once with a little bit. So -1 plus a little bit. So it's going to be right in there somewhere. And our numbers are getting bigger. So we're going to head this way. And the other one is at -4, which is over here, and our numbers are getting less than that, so it's going to be heading away from it. So we're going to have -infinity first, all the way up to this number is -4. That's open, so parenthesis on both of those. Then there's a jump. We're going to jump over to -4/3. It's a parenthesis because it's open, and it's going to head all the way to forever positive infinity. So what word goes in between here? Since it's split, it's going to get the word or. Awesome. Okay, last one. This is one, I don't know why everybody loses their mind on this one. They see -3 take away 6, and they think they need to do that first before they do any of the absolute value stuff. So remember that 6 is connected to the absolute value by multiplication, and the 3 is just being added or subtracted. So we always get rid of the plus or minus first, then deal with the number that's right in front of it, okay? So, for example, if I wrote -3 minus 6x equals -87, you would tell me that you're going to add 3 to the other side first, and then whatever that is, divide by -6. It's the same thing. This is just our absolute value. It just has a little extra space in there because we have more than one thing there, okay? So we're going to get rid of the -3 by adding 3. Then we have all of this stuff with the -6 in front of it. -84. So we still have, here's our absolute value. There's a -6 in front of it. This is being multiplied. So the opposite of multiply is divide. And so we're going to divide both sides by -6. When we divide by a negative, our absolute value, or no, the inequality switches the other way, sorry. And -84 divided by -6 is positive 14. I don't have a calculator. Tell me that's right, y'all. 84 divided by 6, yeah, 14. Okay, so now is the absolute value by itself? Say yes. Great. Now that it's by itself, we can split it into our two equations. 4x minus 10 is greater than 14, exactly like it shows up. 4x minus 10 is less than -14. Switch both. Okay, so we're going to plus 10. 4x is greater than 24. Divide by 4. X is greater than 6. Plus 10. 14x is less than -4. 14? Why did I write 14? It's 4. Goodness. That looked weird. 4x, there we go, divided by 4. Negative divided by 4 is positive. Sorry, just kidding. -1. Y'all, it's late. I need to go home. I get to go home after this question. You too. All right, so last thing we're going to graph, x is greater than 6. So open circle because it's greater, and it's going to head off to the right towards positive infinity. And then another number at -1, and it's going to head off to the left because it's less. Left is less, and it's going to head towards negative infinity. So this gets the word or between them. And our interval notation starts at negative infinity to -1, both parentheses, u6 to infinity. All right, open gets a parenthesis. Okay, it's a lot of information. Y'all got this. Be really, really careful with your negatives. Y'all gotta use your calculators, okay? All right. Love you, bye.